Extremely well. Hi, I'm Rod, Dorothy. Good. Lovely to see you.
Was it your mum who was a nurse?
Yes.
It's so different to having seen the photograph.
Remember that? Yeah.
That's not fair, you haven't got your label on yet.
I know who she is. That's Brenda Hock.
Correct, that's right.
And who am I? Yeah.
Ramsey.
About that McComb.
Right, Dave, I do recognise you. Yes, the eyes.
You're wicked,
Oh.
isn't it?
Yes,
They
ah.
have glasses.
Felicity. Yes. Oh, yes, nice to see
If I don't get a greeting
you.
like him,
Richard, hi.
if I don't get a greeting like that, I'm going to scream.
Yes,
So,
ah.
how are you?
Lovely to see you. What a pleasure.
Yes! Hey, Jean, shut!
No, I have no
So
idea.
lovely to see you. Yes. You're going to heat up here.
Just around.
But I haven't got any hair there.
You guys got no hair at all.
This is fishing.
Oh, lovely to see you. I recognise you, Brenda.
Goodness gracious me.
Bitterly cold though. Rob Dunstan. Not today. Not today.
How's it? I'm glad you came in your school uniform.
I did that.
But
I did that.
I'm going to put mine on just now.
I remember you donkey.
20 years ago, I did that.
Can't believe that you're all growing so much. We've got even greyer since then.
Some of us got enough hair to be grey.
And then you've got to get rid of
Hey, Peter.
Boy Scout.
Yes, yeah.
And there's the beautiful tweed. I'm not like a stanza. I'm more stupid.
No. This is Tiny Brew. Denise Houston, my partner.
How are you?
very well, thank you. Very well.
Yeah, you've been the one to put it all together, hold it all together.
Not exactly. It's been a team effort. It's been a team effort.
Brilliant! That is brilliant. I don't think there's anybody else who fits into this.
That's brilliant.
Welcome, everyone, to this class of 62 amazing reunion. 50 years. Gee, can anyone believe it? It's amazing. Okay, for making it back after 50 years, I think we must give ourselves a massive round of applause. Okay, there are quite a few in the class that would like to have been here that didn't make it, and I've just got a few emails which I'm going to read out quickly, and I've also edited some of the emails. But you'll obviously know all the names. Cedric Spencer in Perth was going to come, but then he had major heart surgery. He's fine.
Oh no.
But he wasn't able to make the trip. But he says, I hope that this arrives to find you all in good health. Have a wonderful time at the reunion. I'll be thinking of you all. Roland Troutman from Cape Town, appreciate your efforts. Please give my apologies and best wishes. I think he wasn't able to get away from his business. Roy McEwen from the United Kingdom. This is Roy McEwen. Again, you remind me of my sadness at missing this unique gathering of very special old farts. By the words about the class of 62 being part of us, whether we remember it or not. The sports initiative is a wonderful, generous idea. Best wishes to all. Suzette Boyens from White River. I'm so sorry that I will not be able to attend. This would positively have been the highlight of my life, seeing everyone again. Paul Jackson, you won't remember that name. Best wishes to everyone involved and the most amazing reunion. You may remember my older brother Ian Jackson was in your year. Unfortunately, he died in December 1988 in Australia. We wish you a brilliant reunion. Yes, Ian Jackson was one of the deceased of our class. John Riley Byron, United Kingdom. It is with a very heavy heart that I write this letter, as I so wish that I could have been there with you, as you are all going to have a wonderful time. And Inka Veenstra on the phone to write best wishes and sincere regrets that I cannot make it. None of us will deny that we were very privileged to go to Estcourt High School in the 50s and 60s under the headmastership of Reg Pierce. The Paying It Forward program is a way we can pass on that positive school spirit of 50 years ago to the present Estcourt High School. I see this as a start of a 50-year legacy that I hope the other classes, 63, 64, in fact already Len Harris knows about it, class of 63, and others will pick up as they go on. Once the news spreads to other years, there's a huge potential for alumni support for the school. I would say it's going to be successful if we can get back in 5 years' time and go and watch a cricket match on Pierce Field, maybe even with an electronic scoreboard. That might be a dream, but I mean, if you don't dream, then nothing happens. So I think we've got a wonderful spirit in this class, as shown by this response. And I think we need to pass it on to the present school. Okay. Peter Rice, he's going to address you now, our head boy of 62. He's probably going to say a few thanks, but he's probably not going to thank himself. So I'd just like to thank Peter for picking up the responsibility of head boy on the other side of the world, somewhere down there, and actually being in day-to-day contact. Yeah, I mean, the emails started in June last year, and I don't know how many I had last year, but this year I've had more than 300 emails with Peter Rice involved. So Peter, thanks very much.
Good evening, everyone. It's just superb to be here. My duty tonight is a great pleasure and honour for me. And I was saying to Denise, we got in a little kindy nap this afternoon because it was a little late last night. And, and I said to her, it's the first time I got emotional about the reunion, and it's the only way I can describe it. It's like coming home, you know, when you've been away overseas and you come back to family. It's very much like that for me, and it's very exciting, and it's just great. And I hope you have those sort of emotions over this weekend. I've just been asked to do 3 short things. One is the welcome, thanks, and say as few words as possible. We have all, I think, travelled a very long and arduous journey to get here. 36 of us tonight have started our journey in Estcourt, and we've all arrived at this place at this time for this purpose, which I think is something to contemplate. This whole idea of the 50th anniversary reunion, as Rod calls it, the amazing reunion, came from Alan and Louise. Alan Hospital, where's Alan?
Yeah. Two left.
Right here. And there was a main committee that was really led and motivated by Berry. She's done an incredible job of the reunion. The others on the committee was obviously Alan, Rod, Chris, and Roy. Where's Roy? Roy Dupree. Once that was set up, all we had to do was find our mates, and that was given the name by Mary of the sleuthing department, and our chief sleuth was Bruce Dixon. Bruce is standing over there. He should really be a private detective.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was really Bruce, Mary, Leslie Stewart from...
She just arrived.
Just arrived. Leslie, welcome. Let's give Leslie a we wouldn't be where we are tonight without Leslie, because she was the sleuth at the beginning that kicked us all off, and also Ryby. Ryby is John Byram. For those of you who don't know, and he was with us up until 9, and then he repeated. And so, with regard to the legacy, we already have 2 undercover agents, which is great. And then the rest of the team, there was Ray Henchy, Roy, who was in the UK, Cedric, who's in Australia, and Rod, and of course Alan. So if I've left anybody out, I apologise, but I include everybody because everybody chipped in to help us find our mates. The next committee to be set up was this weekend reunion committee, and it was unanimously decided that the chap that can still fit into his school uniform. There are advantages to being a doctor.
Yeah.
So Chris and his wife Susan, if you haven't met Susan, Susan's right at the door at the back. Wonderful team, along with the other 2, which was Rod Bullman and Fiona, who have been absolutely outstanding. In that team was Brenda Schofield and Cheryl Fossey and Cheryl Fienstra, Eddie's wife, who is Cheryl Westgate. So I would like to give them my heartiest Then we went into projects, and we had nine projects. So I'll try and push it through because my time's running out.
My battery's going flat.
Is it? Mine's already flat. These I haven't had a look yet, but I've read some along the way. The mini biography program was the brainchild of Roy Dupree and Alan. They joined together, and then Rod brought his communication skills in at the end. So to them, thank you very much. That'll be appreciated by all of us, and it's a memory of the reunion. Rod, we appointed as our communications director, if you like, and he was the man, along with Fiona, who has done the newsletter. So all those 6-7 newsletters you've had came through Rod. To close off, I will listen to Rod. He's briefed to me, opened up with, this is what you need to do. First thing, welcome. Duh. Few words. Yes, a few words. Estcourt High School, my school. The boss. High standards. Pride, traditions, and respect. Those are 12 words you might like to contemplate over the weekend. Here's another 16. Cabbage sticks, lime tins, pitch roller, aloe, but these are mostly blokes things.
Yes.
Van Hoffenberg,
Yes.
bugles. Always at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the band would practice up on the top field. Prep, the quadrangle. School dances.
Steady.
Agriculture. And the one I've never forgotten is that Jikamalayo Jun. You're all sitting in prep, and the bus would come through the main gate, and there'd be the war cry, and it was always, did we lose? No. Did we draw? No. Did we win? Yeah. So you knew exactly what the score was before you finished prep. So again, I end off by saying a very warm welcome. Have a wonderful weekend. I certainly am going to. And it's special for me because Denise has never been to South Africa, and she nearly jumped out the car and chased the monkeys. That's outside in a Bogatini yesterday. So I'm just worried about the game reserve. So to everyone, thank you, and thank you for this family feeling that we all have, and I don't think there's any effort to do it. It's just that we spent 5 wonderful years together, very privileged years, and it's lovely to see you all. Thank you.
In the night there are sights to be seen, stars like jewels on the crown of a queen. But the only sign I want of you is that wonderful picture of you on a streetcar or in the cafe, all of the evening and most of the day. My mind is in a maze, what can I do? I still see that picture of you.
For goodness sake, I got the hippie, hippie shakes. Yeah, I got the shakes. I got the hippie, hippie shakes. Oh, I can't sit still with the hippie, hippie shakes. Yeah, I feel my fill now with the hippie, hippie shakes.
Oh, don't it hurt deep inside to see someone, something to hurt?
Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, happy birthday, sweet 16. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, happy birthday, sweet 16. 2 nights tonight I've waited for, because you're not a baby anymore. You turned into the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Happy birthday, sweet 16.
I love the colorful clothes she wears and the way the sunlight plays upon her hair.
gentle wind on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air. I'm living like
And then that ropes off the square as a second.
We want you all on the steps. You're going to take a photo for the press. There you go. Oh, that's good, kids. Cross-leg. That's Joe. All right. Everybody look at the headmaster and say detention. That's the guy in the blue shirt.
Okay, I've taken several.
We had to commit ourselves to a vision for our institutions, and the governing body at that particular time had to draw up a vision, and that's the vision of Estcourt High. We managed to raise 200,000 and purchased our own computers, and we got a new computer room. We started squash again in 2011, and at the moment they're actually busy with squash. Cricket, we don't have two teams. We have one team for cricket, a senior team. We have Devine Fenter, you also meet her. She's one of our ex-pupils. I think she matriculated 2 years ago. And we've got her in the system, and she's studying, towards teaching. So we do have some of those educators.
It was quite a new thing because it's the first time they'd ever had art at the school. And then the headmaster, Mr. Pierce, I think was more for science and those sort of things. And I think he was forced into being put art as a student. Yeah, you were another one of them. Yes, that's right, Nigel. I think most of us males were in love with our art teachers.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you over the courts behind Berg View, they were very fast, and I didn't know the phones were both.
Yeah, it was mainly out of that window there, but that was the main room. So you get out that window, onto that roof, on down here, and then occasionally we'd use this one. Most of us have been used to climb up the roof, down the straight road, which doesn't visit into town.
And one evening, when all the prefects were called to a meeting or something, he fired this tutu at a cat. Cats were having a fight. And he eventually got away with it by saying, remember there was a compulsory reading time?
From 8:30 till 9, or 20 to 9 till 9 or something.
Yes. He persisted with his story that his book had dropped and fallen face down, a big heavy book, and that's what caused
the shot
the shots. He never got caught.
Out ready!
The beds they're slept in, the bathroom.
He's calling black.
Oh! Go. Okay. Oh, it's all right. It's backwards.
There were beams across here because you isn't there?
I think there might have been, I can't remember.
And a wheelbarrow there
was there to hold the way.
it was
was sitting there.
Yeah, he wasn't.
No.
Theo
was there with the cabbage stick. He was called the motivation department. No. And he was quite enthusiastic in motivating us because anybody wasn't, Dawkins would leap off and the distal worm would fall because Dawkins' weight was gone.
I didn't know what
The main thing for the cabbage stick was when we marked the rugby fields on a Saturday morning, we'd be bending over and putting the line down.
Where's the
Stop
cabbage
the knees
stick?
to go a bit offline. Zap! And if there were two guys behind you, whack. They never broke. No, they never broke. They lasted for a whole Kate Copley, Jeff Kotzer, myself.
And
Eddie Meyer.
And who's that next to Ray Smuts? Who's that?
Peter Sir, he played lock on the odd occasion.
Did it work that night?
All you really need are a number of things. The most important is education. You have an education now, but this is the first brick in the wall. It's just your start. It's not enough. You are not employable as you are right now. You need many, many more skills. But it's not a magic passport. No one owes you a living. The degree or the qualification gets you in the door. Once you're in the door, then your personality has to take over. Your ability to get things done, your ability to solve problems, your ability to get on with your fellow workers. Probably 40% of the jobs which people do today were not invented 20 years ago. Now that is the cheapest. How can I choose what to be educated for jobs which do not exist? It's not very difficult because jobs and products evolve. And you can take any complicated product that you want, say satellite navigation. Satellite navigation is a very complicated thing, but it has evolved from satellite technology, from that evolved rocketry, there's map making. Jobs are a problem. Bad government is a problem. Governments are bankrupt all around the world. They spend too much money that they didn't have, and I'm afraid that your generation is going to have a more difficult time financially than our generation did. Because a lot of those debts will have to be paid back during the next 50 years. When you think 50 years is a long time, it's not. It goes like that.
That's a kind of hard act to follow. I said not just everything I wanted to say. I think what I'd say to you when I just wanted to give you a motivational speech was to tell you one great truth. It only consists of 3 words. Life is difficult. Now that doesn't sound really motivating, doesn't it? But if you think about it, it means that your whole world view changes and the whole business of difficulty becomes, it's not an issue anymore. Because you expect it to be difficult, you're ready for it, you're prepared for it. It's the people who think that life is going to be easy who are unhappy. They're the ones who say, so unhappy. The only disability is a bad attitude. You cannot have life is difficult. You have no disabilities that in your control. And I really want to say, as I sit here and look at you, you know what I see? I see a promise. I see the hope for our country tomorrow. So I say, keep your hands.
Estcourt High School has a very intriguing history indeed. It is based on many traditions, but unfortunately as the years went by, some of those traditions perished. But we are grateful that the Estcourt High walls still stand till this very day. A very good day to ladies and gentlemen, or should I say, former learners of Estcourt High School. It is a pleasure to meet you. I am Novuselelo Nyati, a matriculant of Estcourt High School, and I am the Deputy Chairperson of the RCL. The difficulties that we have faced as matriculants is that in the middle of the year, a new education system was introduced, and that has made it difficult for us to obtain satisfactory results in our examinations, even though we have tried our best to study. And as our educators would say in preparing for our finals, it is the kick of a dying horse. And hopefully one day we'll also be successful as you are today, and hopefully have our own reunion celebrating our success. And thank you very much. It is a pleasure indeed to meet you.
If your experience today has been anything like mine, this school is, we're part of this school and it's a part of us, whether we like it or not. And from what we've seen today, the encouragement that we can give them as the school to carry on the traditions that we were trying to live out, I think would be worthwhile. And that's why we started this legacy scheme of paying it forward. And we've had so far, in the last 10 days or so, 7 that I know of donors have come forward and donated nearly 6,000 rands worth of equipment to the school. And some of it is displayed up there for you to go and have a look at and take photographs of and feel good about. And the reason for my motivation in wanting to do that was to say, I had a privileged education. We were poor, my family were poor, but we were privileged. We had enormous good facilities at our disposal. The least we can do is begin to try to bring something of that into the lives of the current generation. So, if you're willing, please do feel free to support that. I would also like to just say to the school, thank you for your hospitality. Please say to the rugby team, thank you very much. It was so The point is they were engaged. They were really giving it their all. And that is what was so fantastic. So David, thank you on behalf of the class of 63. Thank you very much. Thank you.
God, and not use your surname, Mr. Woolman. There was something else. I've actually, and I must be very honest, is that in the time that I've been here, there's been a lot of people or a lot of classes that have had reunions, but I've never ever engaged on a one-on-one. In fact, they came personally from Harrisburg to speak to me, and they outlaid some of the issues. I think initially wanting to come to the school and for us being part of it. You know, I think that's the operative word, is that for us to be part of actually trying to host you all, even if it's on the level that we are now. And if you look at the people around you, my educators, that I never necessarily asked to be part of it, but they came forward to assist us. If you look at the learners, So I think somewhere we appreciate that there are ex-scholars that are willing to come and, as what happened today, impart some very important knowledge to the learners, and also most probably to teach us some of the things as far as the school is concerned, because there was interaction. And I think that's what we appreciate, the interaction and the visit. And for you all to come forward, people that we've met for the first time, and to make a donation, it actually warms my heart, and I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate anything, the kind words, and of course the finance, but also that you have actually taken some part of your time, from some part of your reunion, to come here to sit with us and actually share with us. Thank you very much, we really appreciate it. I wish you everything of the best in your endeavors. I spoke to a gentleman from Australia, I spoke to from different parts of the world, and I must say I do appreciate your presence here. Thank you very much.
Table one. Number one.
I actually tried to escape to the
I want to start by saying that my classmates have, without exception, chosen exceptionally nice spouses. And I hope they're enjoying themselves and are not too bored with what's going on.
Absolutely not.
And I hope to do very well. And may I also say what an honour it is for me to have been asked to do this. So, here we are. It's our 50th class reunion. And like all good boys and girls reunions, it began with an organ recital, and then it moved through to the pissing contest. Who has the most hair? Who's got the cutest grandchild, and so on. And I don't want to steal Chris's coloured blazer thunder. But I still fit into the earrings I wore at high school. And I'm going to ask you to drink 3 toasts. So make sure your glasses are charged, because the evaporation last night was terrible. Make sure you've got plenty of booze in your glasses. Why are we here? What is it that made us agree? Thank you, Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, what is it that made us agree to spend a weekend in the company of a whole lot of old people? And look forward to it. And I've been thinking about this whole reunion thing and what it means and why we're doing it, and I've come to the brilliantly insightful conclusion that it's not only because we have a shared history, but we have a shared alphabet. We grew up, we spent our adolescence together, knocking the corners off each other, turning us into reasonable human beings. And I think part of the attraction of coming to a reunion like this is to see how you've all turned out. And then, at that time, we shared the agonies of adolescence with its friendships and its feuds and its competition and its camaraderie and its mistakes and successes, and not to mention out-of-control hormones. That was it. And now, we share being able to laugh and pee at the same time. And we share looking like our birthday suits need ironing. Yeah, but those days were remarkably violent when you think about it. There was quite a lot of physical violence. There's been a lot of talk about that. With cabbage canes and rulers across knuckles and detentions and gatings, and emotional violence with the likes of Bratze and his nasty ways. There was violence inflicted on us borders through hostile food. Food that bad had to be deliberate. And it led, among other things, to the extraordinary time-honoured custom of sardines and condensed milk on rye vita at midnight feast. We were desperate. And to be popular, all you needed was a tuck box from home. And I reckon that altered our relationship with food. No doubt about it. I, for instance, became remarkably handy with a knife and fork. And my husband says I'm winning my battle against anorexia. There were dance lessons to prepare us for life after school, and the famous socials, which were the only time you could legally touch the other sex. Lots of Maybelline and hairspray for the girls, lots of Old Spice for the boys. The gender police were always out in force with crowbars. And the socials always ended with a Glenn Miller schmaltzy song and much covert fumbling. And we've been a blessed generation. We've not been through war or a depression. We've witnessed the end of apartheid, thank God, and the start of a new dispensation which promises equity and equality. A little slow in delivery at the moment, but we have hopes. We were the first generation of youngsters who benefited from the pill that unleashed sex. We could make hay while the sun shone. And just as the shadows began to stretch across our playing fields, along has come another pill, which has been a stirring success. And now we can make hay while the sun sets. There are other generations who have had it first. So we are very lucky to have had the chance to experience all this change. And 12 of our classmates didn't make it. And this brings me to our first toast. Rest in peace to our 12 classmates. I am going to say their names, if you just bear a thought for them. Jack de Oda, June Golding, Ian Jackson, Michael Keep, Anne Lindsay, Hermanus Olivier, Jack Rodenbach, Louise Robertson, Donald Sklanders, Noel Shepherd, George Simpson, and Ray Smuts. And toast number 2 is for those who are alive but couldn't get here, and for the 7 who couldn't be found despite our best efforts. And to quote Pam Brown, it's odd how much it hurts when a friend moves away and leaves behind only silence. So, can we drink to absent friends? Absent friends. And then finally, I come to us. And here we are, mellowed by time, watching those shadows lengthening across our playing fields and taking stock. What have our lives amounted to? How do we want to spend the rest of our years? How can we avoid the top 5 regrets of the dying? And what are the top regrets of the dying? Bronnie Ware, an Australian nurse working in palliative care of the dying, asked her patients what regrets they had. And there were 5 common themes, and the last 2 are particularly pertinent to us tonight. And I'm going to be quoting pretty much verbatim from what she said. The first one is, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. I think the message there is we need to be authentic to ourselves. The second one is, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. But what working too hard meant was that they missed their children's youth and their partner's companionship. The third thing was, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppressed their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. The fourth one, the next 2 I think are particularly pertinent to us. The fourth one is, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. But to which I add, friendship takes work. It's a 2-way process and it takes work. So we all have to work harder. And the 5th one is, I wish that I had let myself be happier. This is a surprisingly common one, she said. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their lives again. It's not too late to apply these lessons to ourselves right here and now, especially number 5. And one of the remarkable things that I found about this reunion, being one of the team who organized it, is how much friendship and humor was created in the process. Most of the literally hundreds and hundreds of emails that we exchanged had something funny or droll or warm or friendly to say. It was such a joy, it was such a pleasure. And the reunion itself has been quite remarkable. Magnificently conceived and organized by Chris and his team. It's been a delight from the start. And what a fantastic bunch of people our classmates are.
Yes.
So warm and interesting and positive and delightful. So, before we start partying and working on the laughing and having silliness in our lives, we can drink toast 3 to ourselves, the survivors of the class of 62.
To the survivors.
To the survivors.
May we always have love to share, help to spare, and friends who care.
To us.
The survivors.
Sorry, stand up. Stand up. To us. We deserve more benefit.
Good evening, everyone. Say that we're here this evening, and we feel it's a great pleasure and it's a great honor to share a special weekend occasion with all of you. We have a whole line of songs lined up that will bring back a lot of memories, because a lot of these old Shadows and Cliff and Elvis and Beatles and Simon and Garfunkel and all those numbers will bring back a lot of memories. If you feel like singing along, you're very welcome to. As the evening progresses, you may want to dance along as well. We play under the heading of Shades of Gold, because it's golden oldies and it's a lot of the shadows. And let me start with the youngest member of the band. This is my son Lester de Freitas. And Lester's the youngest member of the band. I'm Tony, Lester's dad. And I'll be playing my guitar and singing a lot of these old numbers for you. And then we have on the left-hand side here, for those of you that can't see, I'll try to describe him. He's a very distinguished looking gentleman. Extinguished or distinguished? This is John Corlett. Call it John. And he is a, well, let me say this without him listening, he's a brilliant bass guitarist, and all of us appreciate the fact that we can play anything and John will support us with whatever we do. We don't even claim the key, he tells us the key. And then on the right hand side is Keith Humphreys, and he's our lead guitar, playing all the Hank Marvin Shadows on his famous Stratocaster, which is a vintage model. It's the genuine thing. So is he. And he's going to be playing for us. So we go under the name of Shadows of Gold. We've done shows at Little Maid and other places. And as I said, we've got a lineup of numbers here that we hope you will enjoy. Just sit back, if you want to listen carefully, you're welcome to. If you want to chat, we try not to play too loud to prevent chatting. And let's see how it goes. Time comes a love like this. Oh, I need you and you need me. And oh, my darling, can't you see? Young dreams should be dreams together, and young hearts shouldn't be afraid.
occasion for us too, because it also happens to be, by coincidence, a second reunion. And that involves our band. You chaps are enjoying your 50th year and reunion since you've last seen each other. Well, it so happens there's somebody amongst you that goes back with this band 49 years. We formed the band in 1963 in Durban, in Mbogantwini, correct? And there was a third member of the band that actually formed us, who got us all together. And we did weddings and 21st birthday parties. But the big job that this mystery man amongst you got for us was a 9-month contract at the Ocean View Hotel, high up on the Berea in Durban, in Musgrave Road. I don't know if any of you know it, but in those days, you know, there were all these private hotels in Durban, and they all had resident bands, and we were the resident band for a whole year in 1965. Wow. Every Friday night and Saturday night, that was our thing from 8 to 12, and it was really super. The last time I drove past the place, it's been turned into an old age home, so perhaps if we'd stayed there, we would have booked our room. But anyway, so we want to just call up your mystery man here, because he's not only your head boy of 1962, but he was our head dolphin in 1963. Peter Critchley Rice, come and join us, my friend. Because he's the mystery man tonight, we're gonna play that Shadows tune called The Man of Mystery. Denise, don't you love those knees?
Yeah, tell him to watch his hips, eh?
Are we ready, Mr. Man of Mystery?